said 3 minutes for a pre-show? Cool.
Which parade do you have?
And Malone parade.
The whole thing?
We can scrap it if you want to.
I mean, I don't know what you guys have.
Oh, that one?
Is it a summarized video?
Yeah, it kind of tells you, and then it talks about the end Malone parade. And it goes in, it gives us enough time to do what we need to do in the background. Or unless it's a new video you want us to put up here. Because you got your whole channel. You need to come check it out. So now, all of those...
Because you know that Mother's Day footage is great, too.
Mother's
Here in St. Louis, our teens are dying rapidly and families are hurting. Annie Malone's Economic Mobility Program is offering an innovative solution to help stop our young men from being on a RIP t-shirt. This program is for young men ages 16 to 21 and takes place at our North City campus. With us, they will have assistance accomplishing their high school diploma, get help with legal cases, and most importantly, be empowered by men that have been where they are. Don't wait until the next shooting. Act now.
I'm going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team now. I'm going down, down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team now. You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs. Smoking
Good evening, everybody. I'm DT. I'm the project manager for Annie Malone over the Economic Mobility Program. I'm also president and founder of Boys to Mentors, which is one of the community partners. I'm very excited about this program and the holistic approach to the systemic issues that have plagued our community for decades. We are at war. Generations before have left a Goliath that we got to go back and slay. I need to shout my hood too. Walnut Park, 39th and McCree and Cabinet Courts. I represent all that. I love doing this because I was that kid. We didn't have anything like this. We didn't have anybody pouring into us. Instead of people giving me pencil and paper, they gave me guns and dope. That's the game I know. You know what I'm saying? So we need to turn this thing around. Again, we are at war, man. And we have to approach it that way. We're going to have our casualties, and we're going to have the ones that we're going to save. So let's save the ones that's wanted, and the ones that we can't do anything no more than try. You get to the root of it, and you meet them where they are and bring them to where we need them to be. So we recreate that foundation and create a safe space, and we give that young man a voice. Involve them and they learn. So if they're part of the process, and that means they're invested. And then we just carry that to the next generation and the next generation. This is the reason why we not only take care of the child, we take care of the parent. There's a parenting piece that is necessary to get through this program. That parent has to meet with that child, and we teach that parent how to parent, because in generations, that is what's missing. A lot of these parents don't know how to parent. It's not a job to each and every one of those individuals that work there. It's a lifestyle. Because that kid's need don't stop when we send them home. This community is missing the love of a black man to a black boy. Yep. As simple as that. Everybody want to know what high school you went to. Some didn't know Fallon Tech. So each and every one of us, if we go back to that school and give an hour to that school, if you that proud of your alma mater, go back and help fix. Go give them an hour. Do you realize how many kids will forego a pair of Jordans for a hug? An attaboy? Or hey, you did great? As he said, that validation is taken out of the home. So the expectation is for him to mess up. If he's juggling 10 balls, 9 balls, we got to stop talking about the one that he dropped. Yep. And talk about the 10 that he's juggling and encourage that behavior. We're not encouraging the behavior. We're not. Those boys want to hear good job. They want to hear how was your day. They want to know that you care. And you do that with time and conversation. That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. But it ain't for everybody, I get it. But don't let it hit your doorstep and deal with it. Deal with it before then. Black man, your tithe is due. Bring us your 10%.
That's from the heart.
I love these boys. I call them my sons. When they cry, I cry. What they feel, I feel. And I get on their head. But it's because we care. This is not a check for us. This is a lifestyle.
I'm just grateful for y'all, for real. Like, y'all don't know the impact that y'all did on me. And y'all really changed my life, for real. Like,
That's what men do. You're releasing right now. That's what men do. You're releasing right now. No, you good.
I used to just bottle up all my emotions. I ain't want to be around nobody. I ain't even know how to talk to nobody, for real. I used to just try to smoke and try to take the pain away. That never worked. That's temporarily. Because once you not high no more, you still feeling back the same way you was feeling. So DT taught me, he taught me that I could come to people, I could come to them, let all my emotions out. I can cry to them. I just love this program. And this program brought me nothing but blessings, for real. Like, I really appreciate this program.
The goal is to put the black man back in the family photo. It starts with them. So we're gonna teach them to be kings for our queens. They're gonna know how to date your daughters. They're gonna know how to be providers. They're gonna know how to start and finish. They're gonna have short-range goals, long-range goals. They're gonna be investors in themselves, in their families, and in this community. That's what Annie Malone is doing.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Facebook Live for Annie Malone Children and Family Services, and this is called The Response. We took a little break, but we did this last year, and I just want to say to everybody before we get started, this is very informative. It's a lot about just the state of the streets of St. Louis and our youth. So tag your friends, share this post, tag some more friends, tell them to tag some friends, share it, because we all know someone who can benefit from these services or anything like that. So I want to tell everybody out there on Instagram, Facebook, tag some people, share, like, comment, do what you need to do, and bring them on in with us. All right? So I want to talk a little bit, I want to gloat a little bit about what this successful year we're coming up off of with our EMP program. Now, the EMP program last year saved 21 young male lives, and I have to say thank you to my team, my funders, but also to St. Louis, because you guys really put your arms around this program and supported us and loved on us for this program, and you were able to help us in that fight to save 21 young men lives. And 4 of them went off to college. All of them have jobs, and we're talking about young men who were robbing, stealing, thinking about taking their lives. I mean, it got emotional and heavy, but we did it. I don't like to say I like to say that we did it. That means you, St. Louis, all of our employees at Annie Malone, our board, all of my community partners, we did that together. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the EMP program for those who are new to this. You can always join us for our Facebook Lives wherever we are, in person, also on social media. But the whole mission behind the EMP program is we have a lot of youth that are on the streets for whatever reason it may be. Maybe transition out of foster care, just don't have nowhere to go. You have parents at their wits' end and just need those resources. And I'm one of those people that don't believe in giving up on our black men, our young black males at all, none of our kids, but I really, really want to love on them and hold them and end that classroom to prison pipeline and kind of take a hold of them where we can. And I'm very firm about pulling in men to do that. I'm a woman. At the end of the day, I'm a nurturer. These boys need to see someone that look like them to be able to tell them what they need to do, but also have been where they've been. A lot of the men that I pull in and I partner with have been in their shoes. They talk to them, they show them respect, because you have to show respect to get respect. And we respect them, we love them, and do all that. But that's the mission of the Economic Mobility Program, which is the EMP program that we talk about. And we take these boys, we bring them in, they live on site with us, some of them, and some of them are on our day program, but they come in Sunday through Friday and stay with us. We give them everything they need. We're getting them their education so they don't give up on high school. Maybe later in life they want to go to college or maybe go a trade or something like that, and we're saying, hey, I'm going to give you this opportunity in this short window to make sure you get it, and I'm going to give you all the resources that you need. Also, we focus on their legal cases to give them that type of help. And we also help their parents with utilities and rent assistance and things like that. If they have children, we're helping their the mothers of the children with diapers, all kind of stuff. Like, we're really just giving them what they need to be successful. But another thing is we're getting them outside of the city. So we let them know that the world is bigger than your block and your options. So we take them, and I have to say, Jason Tatum Foundation, other people that have loved on us in this past year to help my guys go to the Boston Celtics game. And they got all kind of Beats and Nike Tech stuff and all this stuff. But it was more so to say this program is not punitive. Everybody's going to get that, but you decide what you get when we go shopping. How you're working a program. Are you doing your studies? Are you going to therapy? Are you doing all the things that you need to do to be successful? We're giving you that economic mobility to level up. You know, we have these shirts that say, make friends who force you to level up. And that's what we're really giving them, that second opportunity. And that's the mission of the program. I can't keep going before I pay respects, or so to speak, to Dwayne D.T. Tolan. When I started this program last year, I said, God, I need somebody to help me run this. And I got a call from D.T. saying, hey sis, what you got for me? And that wasn't nothing but God. But on July 10th of this year, we lost DT tragically, unexpectedly, and it was a lot. It was a lot to carry. We brought in outside clinicians and clinicians that we work with to do therapy, group therapy, grief therapy with us, with our boys and everything. And we also partner with Boys to Mentors throughout the last year too, to love on our boys and help them with the mentorship program. But I have to say, we have these shirts on that says DT 623 because we got to show respect. And I miss him so much. He did so much for us in his program, along with Boys to Mentors program. And one thing that we had to tell our boys throughout that process is that grief stage, that he dropped something in each one of us, and it's up to us to carry it and keep it going. So if you're out there and you knew DT or anything like that, please help us keep these missions going, whether it be with Annie Malone or Boys to Mentors or anything like that. We have to keep it going, because one thing about it is our boys need somebody that look like us, that's willing to not give up on us. That's very, very powerful. And one thing that DT would say, and I'm going to quote one of his sayings, is we can't continue to ask these young men to stop doing what they need to do to survive and not offer them opportunities and options. And that's exactly what the EMP program does. We offer them opportunities and we offer them options. It's not always easy, but we make sure we get it done. And I'm going to have this lovely panel behind me introduce themselves, because I'm never by myself. I always got some people with me, some strong community leaders and different things like that to come on this journey with me and help me with our community, because we refuse to give up. So I'm gonna step out the way before we jump into some questions tonight. I'm gonna say it one more time, that I really want you guys to tag a friend, share, and get everybody in on this. And there'll be time for questions. Put your questions in the comments and stuff like that. All right, so I'm gonna let this go over to the panel, and I want you guys to introduce yourselves.
How you doing? I'm Khalil. Thanks for having me. I'm just a person that noticed the plague of violence, drugs, lack of education, and how the cards were stacked against us. Not only noticed it for our youth, but lived it. So it was pretty easy to look back and say something needs to be done about it.
My name is Corey Johnson. I'm one of the weekend vendors for the EMP program, founder of the Corey Johnson Foundation, and our mission is to teach children the importance of philanthropy by giving and receiving, with the emphasis on giving back to our community. As you guys know, we got a lot of work to do, so this is why I'm here.
Hey. How you doing today? We got it. Yes, my name is Rodney. I grew up on the west side of St. Louis, and I'm here today due to Keisha to come and talk to the community about the wrong things of drugs, violence, everything, because I grew up into them things, and it wasn't good. You know, I did 11 years in prison, but I'm here now. I made it, running my own business, driving trucks and everything, and it's always, we got to think about the overall, not the moment. And that's what I want to touch base on today is we're always thinking in the moment and not the overall. But once again, we're going to get it done today.
How y'all doing? My name is Calvin. I'm here because I'm a strong believer in giving back to the community. I do a lot of things in the community as far as giving shoes away. I go downtown. I give food back. I try to, during each season, I make sure I give clothes and shoes, whatever to match each season. And I'm a strong believer in the kid movement, because they are our future. So I'm a strong believer in if we can get a hold to these kids before they hit adultery, then we can save them before going to that part of life.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Clay. I'm a police officer. I serve as Vice President of Security for Affinity Healthcare, and I have the honor of being a part of the great EMP program here at Annie Malone under the great leadership of Keisha Lee. And I'm just here, and I'm honored to share the panel tonight with these strong black guys. And last thing that you all didn't know, Michael Jordan is my real dad. Okay, thanks.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? All right, my name is Keith Stallings, founder and CEO of the Access Foundation, and we do youth mentoring, community development, and leadership. And I'm here because of our mission is to mentor kids throughout the community, and I think it's really important that we support black women leaders of the community. So I appreciate Keisha for inviting me to this event and also to support the program.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to jump into some questions. Now, first question you guys already pretty much answered. I was going to ask about your responsibility. Why do you feel the need to give back? But let me jump past that. I got a 3-part question for everybody, so you got to keep it concise. I want you to tell me, what are some challenges? Name me one challenge that you encountered growing up, one challenge you feel like these young men today encounter, and tell me, how do you think they can overcome that? And I want to start with you, Khalil.
Jump right in there, huh? All right. I'd say definitely growing up on the north side, we all had a lot of the same challenges. Drug-addicted family members in and out of prison. These are things that we all dealt with. So if in any way I can be of sort of a channel, just an understanding for those who don't understand those children. If you don't understand where they're coming from, I'll be the translator. I felt that they aren't being spoken for. They're being misunderstood completely and casted out. So I felt that, if anything I can do is be that misunderstood child that understands you.
Your challenges growing up, how did you overcome your challenge?
We never overcome our challenges per se. I would say we learn to live with them. And that's what I want to teach the children, that it's not about beating the game, it's about learning to play it.
Yeah. Well, Keisha, that was a really, you broke that down, man. One thing I think that that is not encouraged to do right now is think. Nobody is really teaching them how to think. Back then, we were kind of based on where you grew up. I mean, it was kind of embedded in you, and you were taught real young how to think, how to use your mind, how to do certain things, and how to. And I know it's sad, but a lot of us were in survival mode. And in survival mode, man, I'm telling you, you're gonna think real quick. You're gonna be quick on your feet. And how do you overcome that? As far as teaching these kids how to think, you've got to start. You got to start having conversations. You got to start asking why. Hey, come here. Let me talk to you for a second. Hey, why do you? Or encourage a conversation before you go into it, so you don't stimulate a negative a reaction from them because they don't want to feel judged. So a lot of us don't know how to talk to one another, and that's why we wind up in conflict. So that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm gonna end there.
Rodney, tell me, what were one of the challenges you faced growing up, and how did you overcome it?
Challenge I was growing up was a role model. Didn't have the right role model in my life. And these days, we still don't have the right role models due to the fact everybody thinking, like he say, we didn't want to talk to think right. We always thinking in the moment, you know what I'm saying? But if we think on the overall, it become a better outcome. But like I said, my role model, never had a role model. Only thing I saw growing up was drugs, beating, violence, everything, you know. Growing up in my household, my brother used to constantly get beat on, so that's what I used to see. So that was a part of me putting my hands on females because that's the only thing I saw, you know what I'm saying? And I felt comfortable doing it because that's what I saw. But we have to touch these kids these days by telling them, thinking. We have to think for the overall because we can do something and do it and like, okay, we hustling, we selling drugs. Let's get this fast money. We want it now. We want it now. But like, let's get a career. Not a 9 to 5. Let's get a career. We wasn't taught that. We was talking just working a 9 to 5. But no, let's work a career. Let's get this going on. And sadly, I overcame my challenge by getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? And when I sat down, I went to prison. They locked me up for first-degree murder, first-degree ACA, first-degree assault, everything. And I overcame all that because the Lord set me down, and I had to think about this. And I'm thinking right now. So it's all about our thinking, you know what I'm saying? And if we can touch these kids by thinking, that's where it's gonna start at. We have to start by thinking. And these days, these kids don't wanna think. They just wanna be valid, but that's how I overcame my challenges.
Your turn, Calvin.
What's your question?
What's a challenge that you faced growing up, and how did you overcome it?
A challenge I faced growing up, I would have to say I was never taught to think for myself. Because growing up on the West Side, like I said, it was like you always see things, like he said, you always see drugs, violence, and stuff like that. And it was always taught, oh, you grew up in this neighborhood or that neighborhood. So we was always taught to, you grow up, these are your homeboys, you hate this next hood, or you hate these guys over here, or these guys, you know, Bloods, Crips, Six Deuces, you know, whatever it is. We was always taught to hate them. We was never taught to, hey, this guy over here, he might got this resource that you need. We was never taught to understand, like, it's okay to have friends outside of your neighborhood. And I say, you know, me personally, like I said, I was just never taught real love, you know. It was always street love, or it was always some type of fake love that came with it, you know. And I still haven't overcame it. I just learned to adapt and accept fake love, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said, me personally, I feel like we could really reach the youth movement by adapting to the youth, you know, because we was always taught growing up, cut grass, do whatever you can to get $1. Don't sit in the house. Go, you know what I'm saying, snow shovel, you know, shovel snows, things like that, you know. And, you know, us as an older generation, we not adapting to the younger generation, you know. These kids these days, they don't want to shovel snow. They don't want to cut grass, you know. So they like TikToking and being on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. So as an older generation, I feel like we need to adapt to the younger generation, you know, instead of us telling the younger generation, hey, go cut that grass. Why can't we be like, hey, look, you know, if you edit your video or if you do this different in your video, maybe it'll help push you more. Maybe we need to adapt to the younger generation instead of them adapting to what we was taught. You know, so it's all about teaching and adapting. And, you know, as life goes on, like I said, everybody's not going to grow up the way we grew up. These kids, they don't want to grow up gang banging in the street. You know, they might grow up in high school with a kid from the next neighborhood, and this might be his best friend. We was never taught that, you know, and that's what really led me to prison, you know, because I grew up and I felt like my neighborhood was all I had, which I didn't even, you know, really want to be a part of the neighborhood, honestly, but this was all I had, you know. And like I said, with these are my friends, I was never taught right. I was always taught wrong, you know. So, you know, like I said, you know, I feel like it's all about adaptation. We need to adapt to the younger generation instead of them adapting to our ways.
Thank you for that. Now, Mr. Clay, I want you to tell me from your perspective right now today in the industry that you're in, and also this is for Keithan, what do you see as a challenge, and tell me how do you help them overcome it in your position, what you do today?
Being in law enforcement for so long, I think one of the main challenges that I see are people not getting involved. And then it's a struggle to keep people that are involved because they get frustrated, and I understand why, right? You get a lot of doors slammed in your face when you're doing the right thing, right? You don't get the support or the help that you need or that you're looking for. So I think those are one of the big challenges that I see in the community. But that's why the EMP program is just so important and it's so needed. And also for people just to get involved. Like I say that all the time to people because they just all over social media. And this messed up. I mean, where they mamas them at? Why do you know what I'm saying? Well, where are you at? Right. I mean, like all that. Like, but where are you at? Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to get off the couch and get involved as well because it's coming to your doorstep. Don't think that it's just happening over there. Or them cats are just selling dope over there. No. Or my kid ain't gonna never do that. No, absolutely not. So that was one of the biggest challenges with me growing up. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have a 2-parent household, right? And then on top of that, both of them were ministers. But at the same time, I had friends, right, over here that were gang banging, and some of them got locked up, and these cats that was on the team with me, right? So that was my challenge to stay on the straight and narrow, but I had positive people in my life, and that's what these kids need, are positive people like these fellas up here that come from these shared experiences that can let them know, hey, this ain't what it is, bro. This ain't what you want to do. Like, it just warms my heart for me to be able to sit next to these two guys and just hear from where they came from. You know what I'm saying? And what they're doing now. So big up to them as well.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I think some of the challenges that I had as a kid mirror the ones that the youth coming up have as well. So I think lack of resources, lack of transportation, that's one of the number one indicators of poverty. So we didn't have a car. I grew up in East St. Louis, and so I know that it's important to expose yourself to other things, because if you don't, only thing you know is your community, the people on the block, right? And so even though we didn't have transportation, I was like level 10 bus catcher, you know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, I used to get on the bus, ask for the transfer, and if you think about the bus system in St. Louis, it's designed for everyone to kind of stay in their own community. But I was expert levels. I was catching the bus St. Louis, North County, Edwardsville. You know what I'm saying? My first job was in the Central West End. So I was basically exposing myself to everything in addition to the block. So I think that's one of the most important things, is to see outside of yourself. And that's one of the things that I try to stress to the kids, is to be have some initiative and not always rely on your parents to pick you up and take you places, to get up, catch the bus, you know. And so I think that's one of the things that I try to instill in some of the kids that I talk to.
Thank you for that. I want to go back down here and talk to Khalil. So when it comes to what you're doing, I think all three of you guys, Khalil, Calvin, and Rodney, you guys talk about your experience in the streets and what you've been through, whether it's prison or drugs and everything else that you've been around. How can we think about your crew, and how can we get more guys that have been around you and grew up the way you do this to come and do what you're doing now? Because at some point, whether it was prison or whether it was something else, something turned in you. And it's a lot of people that come home and don't nothing turn in them to say, hey, I'm done. Like, I want to do right, and I want to help you do right despite of whatever. And how can you do that? How can you help us get more men like you to be able to step up and be on this panel, or come show up and help do this with us? What's the key to reaching guys like you?
Lead by example. We have to continue to have these dialogues, continue to show up, and even if nobody else shows up, we're still here every day. And eventually, they'll come. If not, we'll get it done on our own, but we can't wait for a particular age group or a particular person. Whenever they get ready, all we can do is the work that we can do. You know, I never really thought about waiting on someone to get ready to help me with a fight. I just go ahead and put the gloves on and get to it, kind of, you know. But thank you for the question.
So I think how we can get them to come on board is back, like he said, keep leading that example, you know what I'm saying, leading and preaching to them and asking, reaching out, like let's get together, let's grow up, let's start something so we can touch these kids, you know what I'm saying, because it's them now. They the next generation, you know what I'm saying? It's about leaving generation, by leading generational wealth. So when we build on, we come on, we have to touch someone younger than us, older than us, whatever, but we have to touch these kids though. And if we keep preaching to the ones who like us, they probably, okay, let me step in then, you know what I'm saying? We just got to keep putting it out there. And that's my thing. We just got to keep putting it out there, I think, to touch everyone else so they can come on board.
Me personally, me being young and dealing with the social media and everything what's going on, I think it's really just comfortability. You know, nowadays, it's a lot of gentlemen out here and a lot of men that really want to work and do this type of stuff. You got to think of how many men take the time out their day to be football coaches and just, you know, going around talking to young kids and just stuff like that. And, you know, like I said, what I mean by comfortability is people not comfortable getting up here talking and doing this type of stuff because they afraid of judgment. You know, a lot of men are scared to use their voice because they don't want to get judged. You know, stuff like this, you don't want to show weakness, and stuff like this, some people look at it as weakness, you know, because, oh, like you said, oh, he went to prison 11 years, I went to prison 6 years. So it's like, oh, you changed your life, you went to prison, you know, like, you know, people would say, oh, you a clone, or, you know, they gonna make some type of joke to make you not comfortable speaking your voice, you know. So it's really just about allowing people to be comfortable, like, hey, look, I come from where you come from. I did what you did, you know. I want you to be as comfortable speaking your mind as me. We have to pull each other to the side as men and say, look, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, and I feel you, and I love you as a brother. You know, we have to make each other know, like, I got you, like you got me. You know, like I said, I got friends that's willing to do stuff like this, but like I said, they afraid of getting judged. Because you see stuff like this on social media, like I said, people will rip you in half for doing stuff like this, you know? So like I said, you know, to me, it's being comfortable. We have to be, as men, walk up and be like, look, brother, you know, I love you. Let's change, you know? We see a kid on the corner trying to sell dope. Hey, man, come on, let's walk up to him. You know, let's talk to him. Let's ask him what he doing. Let's see if we can pull him off the street, you know? It take a movement. It take an army to do stuff like that with these kids, you know? So, you know, comfortability.
I have another question for this entire panel, and I don't mind starting with Keith and going down, and I really want to hear this. With these young men in the EMP program, like I said, we saved 21 lives. However, there were challenges when they like, you know, man, I got to work this job, but I could get paid more on the streets by doing this or doing that. And it was a lot of broken young men that we were trying to build back up and repair, and still had life situations going on in the midst of trying to stay in this program. It was times when one of them left and then he came back like, I don't got nowhere to go. I don't want to do this anymore. And they formed this brotherhood to say, look, stay in this, like you're gonna be all right. And it's times when someone was like, I'd be dead and gone if I didn't have this program. So my question to you is, in this program, with the EMP program, when we hit those rough spots with them and they in the thick of it, and they fighting between the streets and family and everything else, and they wants to be on the street and run the streets versus what they signed up to do, what's your advice on snatching them back? Like, hey, how do we gather them back? Like, if it was you, what would help gather you back to say, this ain't what you want? Because we can look at the skirt straights and all this stuff, but like, it gotta be something to help them do that. Now, before you answer that, I'll give you a little bit of context. It's because part of this program is to get them off the street and say, listen, I'm gonna give you all the tools you need to be successful. You don't gotta worry about paying your mama a light bill. I'm gonna do that for you. So you gotta hustle. You can focus on you, because whatever took you to the streets was happening at home. You wasn't getting what you need, so I'm gonna give you what you need so you don't have to hustle for it. And I'm gonna make sure your mama and little sister straight too, so you don't gotta worry about that. But when they in the thick of it and them friends calling, Facebook calling, whatever, how do you set them back straight and repair that? What would have reached you at that point, and what would reach them now?
That's a great question, and I think the answer lies in that particular individual. You know, like in the thick of things, what I try to do is just like bare my soul, let them know where I came from, and have a conversation, a real conversation. You know, like strip down the layers and be real. You know, none of the fluff, because they know if you fake, they know if you ain't sincere. So let them know that you love them, you care about them, and then have real conversations about what they're going through, and they'll start to open up. Because we had kids in the program who were mentally going through mental challenges. They were suicidal. Some were just getting off of drugs. And we just had very open conversations in real time. And the great thing about it was some of the kids were able to be mentors to each other. So you have a 17-year-old mentoring a 14-year-old. How beautiful is that? And then a 17-year-old coming to me for advice and asking how to talk to a 13, 14-year-old. So it's like the brotherhood was once that was established, it became easier to have those real conversations, but that has to be established first, just to let them know that you're there for them, you care, and most important, you want. So.
Absolutely, same thing Keith said, like consistency and keeping it 100 with them, right? And sometimes it takes some tough love, right? So everything can't be soft or, well, you know, come here, let me talk to you. No, sometimes, look, man, come here, dog. Like, this is what it's gonna be, like, right? And I think that, like, when we were able to share our experiences with them, just chop it up before something happens, right? Let's get to them before that crisis happens, like that you talk about, to where we've already talked about, if this happened, this can happen. So, like, when I share stories with them, like, you know, hey, I done dealt with 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. This happened. This is going to happen to you. I even missed those calls from DT. Like, I would always get them. And when I saw his name pop up, I'm like, oh, yeah, he in front of them kids. Because you on speakerphone, bro. So if you stole 3 cars, and what was you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, yeah, just being consistent and being real with these kids, because they know when you I don't cuss, but you know when they BSing you, right? And when you're not being real with them. And that's the only way to be. Don't lie to these kids, man. Just let them know what it is, right? So that's what I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what they said. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what they said, but I'm gonna base it off two things. We have to be therapists first, and we have to teach tough love. Therapists meaning, you know, sometimes these kids don't have nobody to talk to. Sometimes, like you said, you know, what can we do to reach them? Sometimes you have to be an ear to these kids. Like you said, oh man, I gotta go to work, but the street money is faster. Sometimes you gotta be like, okay, man, why you feel like that? You know, you gotta listen to them, let them talk, let them show their emotions without judging them. You have to listen and then get your point of view. Okay, if you feel like this job is not working and street money easy, okay, what can I do to help? It might not be nothing you could do, but you could ask. You know, sometimes it's just about asking a certain question. We don't ask these kids no question. We see a kid on the street, you know what I'm saying, and just see, oh yeah, we gonna ride past him because he don't look safe. He don't look like he gonna rob me. Sometimes you can be like, hey man, what you doing over here? You know, talk to him. You know, like I said, you could teach tough love. Hey man, you don't need to be out here, man. Go home, man. Go home. The street lights finna come home. Go home. We don't talk to these kids. We go ride right past them. We have to stop just riding past these kids when we see them out. You see a group of kids, 5, 6 kids with precisely masks and Adidas jumpsuit on. Hey man, it's 100 degrees outside, man. What if you fall out? How your mama gonna feel, man? You know, we have to talk to these kids. We don't talk to these kids. No one talk to no kids. You know, like I said, tough love and become therapists to these kids.
Like they said, you got to talk to them, you got to teach them, you got to make them feel love, let them be themselves. We have to be there for them and be there and listen to them. Let them talk, you know what I'm saying? That's how they gonna feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you by being in the ear. Don't judge, don't even say nothing, just listen. Because some of these kids, like he said, they don't have nobody to listen to them. And with me, a lot of people used to tell me a lot of things, stop doing this, but I see that that's what y'all doing. So why should I stop because you doing it, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me to don't do something and you doing it, you know what I'm saying? So like I say, we have to be the right role model. We don't have that right now. We got to be the right role model. Rap songs, coming out with, like he say, Pooh Shiesty mask. All this come off the internet. It's the devil. You know, I don't have no social media for real. It's the devil because it's nothing but you constantly doing this on your phone. You're not learning anything. Only thing you're learning is what's popping, what's gonna go viral. You know what I'm saying? We ain't teaching them, okay, let's teach generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't taught that. We wasn't taught to save and let's check at the credit scores. We weren't taught none of them things. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, we wasn't taught them things. Now it's time to teach how your credit looking. Let's get a house, generational wealth. Let's build this. Let's build a family. We think overall. We don't think on overall. Like I say, I'm touching bases. We always thinking in a moment. I need fast money. I need money right now. I got to pay my mama bill. What I can do? I can go sell this piece of drug and get $100. And I can go pay a bill. Or I can go work this 9 to 5 and get paid $18 an hour. And when my check come on, they got $700. I can get that in 1 hour. No. So when you sell drugs, you got consequences. Now you finna go to jail. But if you go work them 18 hours for that week or whatever, the 40 hours for the week, whatever, you alive. You stand out of prison. But we not taught that. We taught, let's get this fast money and let's take care of it. Let's stun on everybody. Nah, it ain't the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you, I was in the streets heavy. And when I did my time, I prayed to the Lord to get me out, and he got me out. You know what I'm saying? Because the things they said I was doing, I didn't do it. But he gave me a second chance. My second chance was to come back and talk to these kids, to have a testimony. I'm a living testimony. I could have been locked up forever, but I did 11 years, you know what I'm saying? I came home and changed my life. But the thing is, we got to trip over the overall. We got to think in the overall. Well, if I do this, who would I hurt? If I go do these things, who would I hurt? Would I hurt my mother? Would I hurt my auntie? Would I hurt my brother? They don't know. They don't think like that. So when we touch them and tell them things like that, they'll get the bigger picture, and they'll look and they'll live the right way.
Man, all you guys had amazing responses to it, and mine is going to be pretty short. It's just consistency. You know, you have to be consistent in our lives. If you're going to come in and then, of course, not live by what you preaching, right? They like Clay said, and the rest of these guys have said, man, you have to live, be you, be genuine, loving, love them in their environment, meet them where they are, be consistent. Be consistent. A lot of men are not consistent, and I just put it out there. You're not consistent. You have to be there. These young men need that. Sometimes they need hugs, and DT was strong on that. Them kids need hugs sometimes, man, and they need to be told that they love. They need to be told that you're important. They need to be told all these things, even though they might be in their own world. They could be high as a kite, but somebody, if it's you, let them know that they love, man. Consistency.
Real quick, I'm appreciative to every single person and organization that has ever patted their feet on the grounds and helped these babies and adults, whoever you've helped. But at some point, we're going to have to get angry and fight. At some point, we're going to have to say, law enforcement, you cannot treat our babies like this. We're going to have to get angry and fight. At some point, we're going to have to say our children need better education. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to stop letting these elected officials walk around us as if they're celebrities. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to get angry. Appreciative, again, to everyone who has ever helped put water on the fire, but the blaze is getting out of control. We can only put this fire out with a hose that the federal government can provide to us. We need sweeping legislation for our babies. They're passing sweeping legislation for every other ethnic group but ours. We are going to have to fight.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I think I want to ask this next question is, and we're going to keep it at Kalia and move down. But the next question I'm going to ask you is, what made your voice powerful?
Choosing to use it and knowing that I chose to use it and not a mouthpiece for anyone else but myself. I don't speak for anyone who's ever taught me anything who I believe, and I've learned from great men. I'll never take that away from them. But when you hear Khalil speaks on his own behalf, and that's what I feel makes my voice the most powerful. I've taken from the greats, but you learn your voice by walking in your own light and being yourself, ultimately.
Repeat that question one more time, Keisha.
What makes your voice powerful, Corey?
It's my voice powerful is that consistency. I keep talking about the same thing. I keep showing up. I don't deviate. I'm going to make sure that my words matter, you know, and when I say, I mean. And I'm going to remain consistent with what I'm saying and what I'm doing.
What make my voice powerful, I'm a walking testimony. And that's the reason why my voice is powerful, because I walked in them people's shoes, and these kids' shoes, and what they done, I done it. I saw it all, done it all. And that's why my voice is powerful to this day, because I know if I can't touch 100 kids, as long as I touch one, I'm gonna touch one. It's a guarantee, because I'm a living testimony.
What made my voice powerful is just knowledge. You know, just taking the time and learning and paying attention to everything around me, knowing what I did wrong, knowing what to do right, and I'm knowing what I need to change. So when I learned knowledge and I learned that, you know, some things in life I'm doing is not okay. You know, as long as I felt like I was taught that this was okay, I would have stayed the same. You know, when I went to prison, I started reading books and talking to older guys, you know, that actually been through it and was doing 400 years and life without, and they telling me over and over, look, you don't want to be where I'm at. You don't want to be where I'm at. You got a second chance. You know, that knowledge they was giving me, even the small things, it made me okay to accept who I am. You know, I don't want to be in the street no more, you know. So once I learned knowledge and I started paying attention and reading more books and learning, I learned that, you know, my voice, like you said, it might touch one kid, but that one kid might touch 10 kids, and that 10 kids might touch 100. So, you know, you got to teach, you know. So it's all about knowledge and teaching.
My voice is powerful because I speak truth and positivity, and I know how to use it, if that makes sense. So I may speak to these boys in different rooms. I know how to speak it, but the root of it is the same, right? So I know how to deliver it to where you can get it, and it's still going to empower you.
Yeah, so I think my voice is powerful because I walk in my truth, I live in my truth, and I don't give a damn about nobody thinks. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the most powerful thing, is to live in your truth. So my message is going to remain the same no matter who comes in the room. You know, white, black, Mexican. You can't write a check to change my mind. I'm unbought and unbossed, and so my message is going to remain the same.
So we almost at time, but before we get there, I want to know, do we have any questions? Come on, love. Thank you for being here. Let me reach out and walk to you. And you can stay right there. Just talk, give me your answer.
So I thank you guys for being here. I think the very first step is showing up. So I do have a question for you. I have a son, he's 19, and we're talking about the mental health of the mind of a young man. So my question to you is, when did you guys first form a connection with love? Young man, you said the streets showed you love. You saw someone being abused, you connected that with love. So you got young men who have not come from a home where there's love, so they connect with other things, and then that messes with the mental mind. I love my son to the moon, and I would do anything for him. You know, I kiss him, I hug him, I tell him I love him. So, but there are people out there, there are young men out there that are growing, and they don't have a healthy connection with love, and that's where it starts, in their mental mind. So what would you tell a young man that has no connection with love? Maybe it's to the streets, maybe it's to drugs, maybe it's to abuse. So what would you say when that man says, well, I want to form a healthy connection with love so that I can have my mind right and I can be right for myself, for my family, for my children? So what's your answer?
So with that question, he just got to keep telling him, like, love. And with me, like I said, no one never showed me love. I always thought the streets was loving me. My friends, all my friends from my neighborhood, I thought they loved me. But they loved me as a fault, you know? They loved what I can do for them. They knew because I was loyal. So it's like, let's use them. But true love is They don't want to see you harmed. They don't want to see you go to prison. True love is, you know you're doing something wrong, they're going to tell you, hey, listen, let's do it this way. Don't do this, don't do that. I didn't have that. But when I came home from prison, I found true love, because it's all about me. When I come home, when I come in, how you doing? How was your day? Look like you stressing. Look like something on your mind. What's going on? Talk to me. They listen, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that's true love. So with your son, if he going somewhere, just let him know. Listen, you can tell me anything. I'm your mother. I also want to be your friend. You don't have to go nowhere else. Tell me everything, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to love you. Nobody not going to love you like I'm going to love you, you know what I'm saying? So with that, it's like, just be there. Just constantly be there. Constantly be there.
Just to answer your question, I feel like me to you, I feel like in order for you to show your son true love, you have to make him feel it. You can't just keep telling your son, I love you, I love you. Them just words, honestly. I've been told I love you a million times, and it has no feeling to me because it's words. When your son's sitting in his room at night, sometimes you got to just say, son, is it okay if I come in here and just sit at the edge of your bed? You know, we don't do that type of stuff with our kids. You know, your son probably TikToking or something like that. Just think about when the last time you actually be like, hey, son, you know, teach me them dance moves. You know, can you teach me this? Your son in sports, hey, son, come, let's go to the gym right quick. Can I go watch you hoop? We don't really do that no more. You can't really just tell me you love me no more. It has to be a physical connection, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually. You have to let somebody, you know, feel it, not just tell me, because you could tell me anything. So with your son, is like, you have to understand, I need to know my son's hobbies. I need to know what he like. I need to know what he dislike. I need to know how I talk to my son. Is he okay with that? You know, just adapt to your son. Your son in his room, go sit with him. Honestly, I always had that connection because I grew up with both of my parents, you know, and having both of my parents was a blessing, and many people don't have that, but I was able to learn from my mother and my father, to where my mother, she was always teaching me emotions, control your emotions, you know. Sometimes you need to let those tears go. Sometimes you need to do this. And with my father, it was more physical, you know. You fall, you scratch your knee. You know, I'm not gonna always be there to wipe your blood off, but I can show you how to wipe it off. You know, get up. I'm not gonna teach you everything, but just know when you fall, get up. You know, so it was easy for me, you know, because I always had love. You know, I got a big family, as you know. You know, so love was kind of easy for me. But like I said, as time goes on, love fade. You know, because it get to the point where, like she said, her son 19. At some point, she probably feel like, I have to let my son just go off and be him and do him. You know, like I said, with a lot of these parents, it be a million kids downtown running around. Them parents, they don't know that they doing wrong. They think they giving their kids love. Because I'm allowing you to do you, I'm allowing you to be a kid. You're not allowing him to be a kid. You allow him to just run off and do what he want to do. But true love is, hey, son, look, get in this room. You know, at nighttime, it's crazy things going on, which all day we live in St. Louis. You cannot let these kids be out here, you know? So, you know, true love.
Well, a lot of the times, love is not always dependent upon a person. And even as a youngster, it's probably best. I found that love from music. So when all my partners, they was catching their cases, a lot of time I was in the studio. A lot of time when shootouts happened, I was busy doing music. I was off out of town somewhere. When it was time to make decisions on certain things, I saw a future for myself that my partners didn't see for themselves. Self-value came from the love that I had from my passion. And it's important that we do that for children. We find their passion, and then they'll find something that they love more than life.
I think this next question, thank you guys for answering this. This next one is for Corey, Clay, and Keithan. Go ahead.
What's good, Brotherhood? So my question is, I work with a crime intervention organization in the city. Do we have, or how do we come up with a collective plan that incorporate everybody's plan into one plan so that the community can see that even though we are independent in our own organizations, we still have a collective plan that the community can follow, appreciate.
Oh, first of all, good to meet you, brother. Second, I think that it's all about action, man. I can't tell you, I'm so tired of going to meetings, bro. Like meetings and meetings and meetings, because it sounds good to the public or it sounds good on paper, so people can say, oh yeah, well they had a meeting about this. But what the hell happened after the meeting? Like, I got other stuff to do, right? So it should be about action, man. We should get all of these people to the table, what you're doing. These brothers up here, you know what I'm saying? EMP, whatever the case may be, whatever we're trying to do, we do need to meet, of course. That's how we're going to get it done. But, man, after that, we have to put it to action. And so now we can say, on this day we met, but on this date, look what we did. And on this date, at the end date, look what we did. And collect the date on it, all that stuff, man. So that's about action to me. I'm tired of meeting for real.
Yeah, that's a tough question because, I mean, if I had the answer to that, like, we wouldn't be here tonight. You know what I'm saying? I think that definitely it's a relevant question. I think there's tools and resources out there to document how we do things like this, and other organizations and people can use it as best practices, you know. But I think, to his point, action is the key. So as black men, we need to meet the kids exactly where they are. Whether it be you riding down the street, you see kids at the bus stop, talk to them in the morning time. Whether you be a teacher or a coach. I mean, my first, I think, male role model was a teacher. You know, so I think the teachers need to stand up and realize how important they are to the kids, because they may be the only male influence that they get throughout that day. So whether you be a teacher, coach, police officer, pastor, I think we need to stand up as black men and realize the importance of how important we are to the kids as we come into contact with them.
I think that collectively, grassroots, we really need to start reaching across the board, man. You know, a lot of times people don't want to work with other people, other organizations don't want to work with other organizations for whatever reason. And as you see here, we have no problem doing that. I think that it's time out for the politics part. It's time out for the shine and all of that. And if you really, really cared about these kids, the money you're getting, you would be spending it where it needs to be spent. Grassroots is where it's at. A lot of these places, they cannot go into these neighborhoods. They cannot talk to these brothers like this because they have no connection. As these young brothers said, they feel, I ain't saying you guys, but brothers like them feel judged. And I would too if a person came in my neighborhood and I didn't know who they were. So, grassroots, organizations, come together. You know what to do. You just need to do it.
It's just so important with those reaching across the aisle. So, I mean, because I could be the coolest officer in the world. I think I am. You know what I'm saying? But at certain spaces, I can't go in that these fellas can go in, right? But if I go with them and they make that introduction, then it's all good, and vice versa, right? I could take them over to some spaces where they may not have been able or felt comfortable going, but now they went with me, we made that connection, and now we can grow from that. So those networkings and those workings, the collaborations, like Corey said, are just so very important.
Thank you. So I'm gonna let you guys wrap up this, but I'm gonna do this piece. For everybody that's out there, tag somebody, share this, and because this last piece is gonna be very, very vital. I think this is gonna be it. And I want you to tag people, share this, do what you need to do. But I gotta say this, with this EMP program, I'm so excited about this second year and the funding and all the men that I have partnering with me, but we need more men. We can't do this by ourselves. I can't do this by myself. In order to save our men, because why I'm speaking about men is because I truly believe that men are the head of the household. And as our daughters grow up and they're getting older, they're gonna need these young men to lead, but first we gotta save them. And that's one of DT quotes, save them before we grave them. And we'll be back on this next month, but my last and final question, I'm gonna let you guys end this, and I wanna go down the line. You got 1 minute to speak. Whatever's on your heart, to reach whoever's listening, You got 1 minute to just speak. It ain't no question. It's whatever you want to say that's coming straight from you that's going to hit somebody else.
In the words of Stokely Carmichael's, organize, organize, organize.
I think we all need to learn how to show more love towards one another. It is it's very vital that you let people know exactly how you feel about them while you have them. I don't think that we cherish those moments with our children, with our family, with our loved ones, and people, extended family and friends. You really need to really take a deep dive and start thinking about when is the last time you told somebody you loved them. Make that more common.
What I want to say is, whatever y'all do, just think for the overall. Do not think for the moment. Because when you do the things you're doing, selling drugs, popping pistols, however you want to call it, just listen. When you do it, it can give you 100 years. Or you can go get a career and work for 40 years, 20 years, and be set for the rest of your life. Or you can go take the little easy route. Like I say, take the easy route out. Go sell some drugs, go do whatever. But when you get caught, don't cry. Because that first night in that cell, you're going to think about everything. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do this? Now, don't say why. You should have been like, I should have did this. Let me take care of my family. Let me get a family night out. These days, we don't have family night. Choose a day, and you take your family out, and you just have family night. Like he say, tell them I love you. Hold me. Please just be here for me. And love. Love is the big thing. It's a strong word. But actions speak louder than words. Let's do it.
Awareness. We have to be aware. You know, we haven't touched on it, but people deal with things that you never know they deal with. Depression, anxiety, stress. You know, we have to be aware. And we see that someone's dealing with something and we don't even ask them what's wrong. You know, we have to be aware and we have to be verbal with each other. Look, man, you okay? You haven't talked in 3 days, you know what I'm saying? Is you okay? You want to talk about it? Like I said, become therapists. You have to talk. Why you just walking past me, man? You never did this before, you know? So be aware, man. If you know somebody dealing with something, man, ask them what's wrong. Pull them to the side. Make them okay with talking to you. You know, awareness. We have to be aware of what each other going through. Everybody's not going through the same thing. I could walk around every day with a smile and want to end myself. You know, you never know what somebody's going through. Talk to each other. Like you said, tell me you love me. Man, come here, give me a hug. You know, be physical. It's okay. It's okay.
Just as I said earlier, just getting involved. We have to get people involved, right? And you have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable sometimes. Sometimes these kids just don't know. And you have to show them. I know it came from down there earlier. You have to show them. My mother, 90 years old, like in real life. And there was some kids walking down the street, and I always tell the story. They were sagging all this. And she like, boy, if you don't pull them pants up. And I'm like, Mom, listen, no. Because if they say something crazy, she like, shut up, you ain't gonna do nothing, God got me, or whatever. But she went over there and did it, and them boys pulled their pants up and kept on walking. So we have to do the same thing. And lastly, it's okay to love. And let's normalize it with these black men, because we're saying it all the time. Let's normalize it. And you can attest to this. Every time DT got off the phone with me, he would say, all right, love you, bro. Then I would throw back at him, but I'm in love with you. Then he'll get mad and hang up on me. But we got to make sure that it's okay saying that we love each other, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So I think the highest level a man can achieve is to inspire others and to help others. So God, family, community. So once you solidify your family, reach outside of your community. Get over yourself, lift as you climb. So you got a nice car, so what? Help somebody else get a nice car. Got a nice job, so what? Help somebody else get a nice job. You got a house, help somebody else get a house. Stop being selfish and love each other.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for this. And I hope, Khalil, Rodney, Calvin, I hope this is not the last time when we see you guys. I invite each one of you to come over to the EMP house when our boys there, speak with them. I hope it's not overstepping, but they run the Saturday programs. Go out and see the Saturday program with them and that mentorship. I hope this this furthers your voice and your story and what you have to give to the community, and hopefully your homeboys, your cousins, or whoever join this force with you guys, because we form bonds here. So we locked in. If you locked in with us, we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining, everybody that's here, and we'll see you guys next week. No, not next week, next month. Same time, same place. Thank you.
I can break down bricks before I broke down fractions. I was in them streets deep. I followed my brother who was a kingpin status, but it was the look on my mother's face when she picked me up from jail. And I say, I'd be damned, man, if my mother feel that again when it comes to me. My brother next to me started going to jail when he was 9. He's easily spent half of his life in prison. That's where I was headed. But the look on her face, man, that disappointment, I couldn't do it. So I had to begin to change. Whatever your motivation is, man, use that. The approach that the EMP program has taken towards that is preventative measures. So it's first teaching them how to express themselves, how to de-escalate, how to communicate, how to breathe. You know what I'm saying? You get frustrated and all you know how to do is fight through that. No, reason through that. Have these conversations from top to bottom. That way you can get to the core of what the issue is, so you're treating the sickness, not the symptoms. So you gotta have these one-on-one. Social and emotional learning is crucial in this space because we have to keep them from getting to them. Nothing against the schools, you're still treating the symptoms and not the illness. You can put whatever it is you want into that kid, but if they're going back to dysfunction and that dysfunction is not addressed, you're just throwing water or money into a black hole. So we got to get a hold of the parent. We have to hold that parent and make that parent responsible. Then we got to have that trickle down through the siblings. If you're just treating the child and you're not treating the parent, you're not helping the siblings and all of that, you're just throwing good money away. You're not going to save as many as you could if you treated it holistically. I'm hands-on. I'm boots on the ground inside of 2 schools. And what I have encountered is people that don't care. It's not my problem. Let me get my check and go home. There's not enough people that care enough to do something about it. So we need people like you to advocate for that. It's not easy work. Roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. It's not about the check. The payment comes down the road when you see those kids successful. So we got to get inside of the schools with people that care enough to do something about it. There's nothing more precious to a black man than the support of a black woman. We put our kids out at 18, but did we prepare him for that? And that's the part that's missing. That's the reason why we do the things that we do at Annie Malone, the EMP program. We prepare them to be men. We teach them how to date your daughters. We teach them how to be fathers. They're learning how to be dads right now. It's about accountability. We're building them up, and then we fill them with affirmations. There's not one day, even if I get on their head, there's not one day I don't tell them that they're great or that I don't see great. I see greatness in you. I'm on your head because I see your potential. You're underachieving yourself. Black boys need to hear that instead of you're cute. Instead of telling them they're cute, tell them they're smart. Speak that into existence. Tell them that they're great. Push them to where, it support their dreams. It might not be what you want them to be, but if you support their dreams, guess what? They're likely to achieve it. And then it may flip to what it is you wanted for them. But they need your support. They need your love. And then they need to be able to voice who they are. These are young men. You got to let them speak their voice, right or wrong. Because what's going to end up happening, they're going to speak that to their friend. And that friend might not be guiding them in the spaces that you need. They need to be able to talk to you. So spend more time with them. More one-on-one. I love it when them boys come and say, can I sit down and talk to you? Absolutely. The world stops. When they darken my doorstep and say, hey, can I sit down and talk? And I might not want to be bothered. I might have to get a report to Keisha or something to Sam. But guess what? That 5 minutes would have turned into an hour. And now they're uplifted. They leave my office a different person than who they walked in. This is what our black boys need. They need our support.
Hopefully, we've been successful in changing the narrative of what you think about young black men that's actually in the streets. I tell you guys in private, and I'm gonna tell you in public, you know that you were loved. You know that you were loved. I show it each and every day. I might get on your head when I walk through that door, but when you step in my office, it's a different conversation. I hear you, and that's because I understand. I don't judge the tree until I know the root, okay? It takes a village. Y'all have heard this, man. We're changing the narrative. Y'all heard a change is gonna come. F that, a change is here. It's here. It's in Etoya. It's in Clay. It's in Wesley. It's in these young men that's our future. So I need you guys to support the village. Help us save them before we grave them. I'm out.